Now I want to say thank you. I didn't shave my legs. That's why the lights have to be down on top. I want to clarify something that Susan said, because there's a lot of confusion. We've got at least 2 people who've never been to any ASF functions before, and at least 1 who's only been to a couple, and then there's several of us who've been around since dirt. This today is just one of the regular monthly lecture series, and we've had all sorts of interesting things, from radio personalities all the way to the reading of, I excuse the expression, a somewhat soporific PhD thesis. I'm sorry, that went over my head last month. Hopefully today will be something between terribly exciting and terribly boring. As Susan was saying, ASF sponsors a side group of Toastmasters. That group of Toastmasters was established primarily to provide a venue for members of ASF or other free thinkers. You don't have to be a member of ASF, but to provide a menu to become better speakers and better leaders. Our particular Toastmasters group is called the Free Speakers. We've been in existence for about 2 years, and we're just now coming to see some of the fruit of all of our labor of having established a Toastmasters group, and that's where Susan and I come in today. We've been in this group for 2 years, and we're finally getting the courage to stand up and speak to regular people. I want to talk about mentorship today. Susan will talk about leadership, and David is going to actually give you some how-to information in dealing with Meetup. If you have no intention of ever being a leader or a mentor or working with Meetup, not a problem. Your job is to sit there and be supportive of us, excuse me, of those of us who are standing up here in front. So be supportive, be nice. I'm going to be nice. And I learned how to introduce someone. When I'm introducing myself, I'm supposed to say, hello, my name is Karen Seale. Did you know that there's a way for inflection for people to remember your name? Is to say your first name, bring your voice up, pause, and then say your last name and bring it down. It helps people remember your name. What's my name? Do you remember my name?
Karen Seale.
Very good. Thank you, David Bentley. Everybody's leadership style is different. My mother's, for example, I'm going to tell you the story about her leadership style. I was 6 years old. It was my very first day of school. I knew something special was going on because she made me wear a dress. I was a tomboy, and this was in the mid-50s, last century. Little girls were supposed to wear dresses, so I knew something was going on. But she didn't give me much more information than that. But she's driving me to school. She stops in front of the school. She doesn't park. She stops in front of the school, reaches behind her, unlocks the door, and says, get out, go through that front door, take the first door to your left, find the teacher, and tell her your name. She'll take it from there. That was how I was led into public school. Now, I thought that was normal. That was my mother's leadership style. She gave orders, and you were expected to follow. I remember thinking, holy crap, and I cussed even then, I apologize, but somehow I found the door. She pointed to it. I wasn't sure what was left or right, but somehow I managed to get in the door. And I so distinctly remember sitting in the back of the room, and there were all these other kids in the class, and they had their mothers with them. And I thought that was so weird. I was the only one without a mother, but I thought I was the normal one. Then the teacher made the announcement that all the other mothers were supposed to leave. And then all these kids started crying. whining like a bunch of babies. I wasn't crying. I was used to not having a mother. I was used to her leadership style. I thought that was normal. I didn't know that it was normal to parent your child. That's just not what I grew up with. So as I grew up, I did okay. I mean, I turned out all right. I'm not a serial killer. I'm not a drug addict. I managed to get through college and medical school. I'm a board-certified orthopedic surgeon. I do okay. I didn't realize that the leadership style I grew up with wasn't what everybody responded to. So when I became a leader, I did the same thing my mother did. I just pointed, you do that, you do that, you do that, and I expected people to follow. But lo and behold, they didn't. And that's where my experience in Toastmasters has been invaluable, because I've learned that there are better ways to lead than the way I learned. People need to be led the way they need to be led, not necessarily the way you want to lead them. If you don't agree with that, then you have never tried to be a leader. Susan, you agree? Yeah, anybody that's tried to lead, people need to be led in the way they need to be led. And that's where mentorship can make the huge difference in getting people to do what we want them to do, or where we want to lead them. Learning a better way to lead is what I've been learning in Toastmasters and in Free Thinkers. And that's what I want to teach today, is one of the ways to become a better leader. My message today is very simple. I want each one of you here today to at least consider making a decision to be a mentor, whether it's here in ASF, whether it's out there in the community, but preferably through free speakers, because we can actually learn to be better mentors. Mentorship is a skill to be learned. If it were just as easy as taking a set of car keys and throwing it at your teenager to get them to be a good driver, anybody could do that. But that's not really the safe and best way to be a leader or a teacher. Mentorship is a planned, deliberate, two-way relationship. It requires skill on both parts, both the mentor and the mentee. It's mutually beneficial. Both members learn, both members benefit, and it's a safe relationship where the mentee, the one being mentored, can make mistakes, feel free to take risks, and not have a sense of being rebuked. Also not my mother's style, rebuke with her middle name. But like I say, I turned out all right. In the mentorship relationship, it's not so much give and take as it is being the gift if you're the mentor, and giving back if you're the mentee. The mentor is a guide, a flexible friend, a teacher, and someone who inspires. If you're not that kind of leader, then you might want to consider learning those skills through a mentorship program, be it through Toastmasters or on your own. The mentee, on the other hand, has to give a lot too. We expect the mentee to get to know the mentor, to get to know the system, to initiate, to inquire, to ask questions, and to value the perspective of the mentor. There's no way that I want to be a mentor to somebody who's going to roll their eyes like a teenager or disregard what I have to say. It's not going to work. My message about what is to be a mentor. The why is a big question. What's in it for me? What's in it for you to be a mentor? And I want to tell you my personal experience about what has happened in Toastmasters. I attended, we've only been in existence for 2 years. In the first year, it was the blind leading the blind. We didn't know doodle squat. The second year, it was me leading the blind. I was elected president because there were only 3 people in the room and we needed 3 signatures on the piece of paper. And I said, okay, I'll be president. Will you be secretary and will you be vice president? That's how I got elected. So it's not like it's a big deal. I was not prepared to be a leader. I didn't know what it meant. But over the first year in existence, by objective standards, our club has done extremely well. We have 19 members. 20 members is considered optimal. We have 2 of us have received our Competent Communicator Award, which is the first step towards becoming a competent speaker. 2 of us have received our Competent Leadership Awards, and all of these things are things you have to work towards. We've got several new members that are coming in, and we really have fun and vibrant meetings. So by objective standards, I've done a good job as president. And I have to ask myself then why, about every 6 weeks, I wanted to scream and pull out my hair and quit. I cannot tell you how many times I have threatened to quit after a free speakers meeting because I felt like a total failure. Even though the numbers said were good, I didn't feel it. I wasn't feeling the love. I wasn't feeling connected to my other members. I had taken all of the fun out of the meetings. I had taken the fun out of the meetings, because people weren't doing what I told them to do. And that's when I decided to start walking the walk and not just talking the talk. Toastmasters has a a well set out plan to be a mentor. In Toastmasters, we build not only speakers, but also leaders. You can do one or the other or both. I wasn't being a very good leader. So I decided to step out of my comfort zone and become a mentor. I have to admit, before this, I had delegated the mentorship program to somebody else. And his idea of mentorship was to say, hey, my name's George, call me if you need me. And that was it. I mean, there was no mentorship. So I decided that if I wanted other people to be good mentors, I needed to be one, even though I never had been one. So I put myself out there and assigned myself to be a mentor to 2 people, one of whom is right here, Karen Zuccardi, and another woman. I'm going to tell you about my experience with Karen. I've been a mentor, 2 months now? And it has absolutely changed the way I feel about free speakers. It's changed the way I feel about myself. It has re-energized my willingness to come to meetings because I get to watch her grow while I grow myself. It's challenging, it's not fun in some ways. I really had to get out of my comfort zone in more ways than one, but it's given me a whole new perspective, a whole new energy level for me to be a free speaker, to be a leader, and to want to be involved in ASF. It made me clarify my thoughts of about how to be a better speaker. If I make her get out, and in fact, I have an important announcements to make. Karen Zuccardi has been selected by her, I'm sidebar here. Karen Zuccardi's company, which is an international company based in Pennsylvania, has been awarded a prestigious award from the state of Arkansas, and her company has asked her to go to the governor's mansion on Tuesday and accept the award and give a 3-minute acceptance speech. Now, Karen did not speak English 10 years ago. She came to this country not speaking any English, and 10 years later, and 3 months in Toastmasters, she now feels comfortable enough to accept that invitation to speak at the governor's mansion. And I think that's really cool. I want to give Karen a hand. Now, of course, that was possible only because I was her mentor. But because she has the courage to step out and do stuff that makes her uncomfortable, it makes me more likely to do it as well. So I've developed new skills too. I'm not reading the screen, but I learned this from Karen. El que enseña aprende dos veces. The one who teaches learns twice. So not only have I learned how to be a better leader, a better speaker, I've also learned a little Spanish. And if you'll see this little guy in the left-hand corner, that's just to remind me that getting out of your comfort zone is part of a being mentor. These are ants. I ate an ant yesterday. These are ants from Colombia. She made me eat an ant because she said, Karen, do you like to eat, or will you eat strange things? And I was just about to say, I'll eat anything except ants. And I'll be damned if she didn't hold up a package of ants and say, oh, come on, try it. It's only in your head. So I ate an ant. If she shares an ant with you, it means you're special, because she really likes ants. She's from Colombia and they eat these things. My point being, I've learned new skills. I've been willing to get out of my comfort zone because she was willing to get out of her comfort zone because I asked her to do it. She's been a fantastic mentee, and now it makes me want to do more. What it might bring to you, what's in it for you, would be up to you. If you're willing to be uncomfortable, learn new skills, reevaluate your thinking and teaching processes, then it's for you. But then what's in it for ASF? I kind of said a while ago, Free Speakers is a group founded by ASF, sponsored by ASF, theoretically for the purpose of building better speakers and leaders for ASF. In doing so, we make our organization more vibrant, and we build our own replacements. I mean, Susan, one of these days you're going to get burned out. You need a replacement. David has been president for a long time. He's done the deal. None of these people have thrown up their hands yet and said, I quit, but it's only a matter of time. So we owe it to ourselves and to our organization to take seriously the challenge to train other people to be mentors, or I should say to mentor people, and to take our organization seriously. And mentorship is a way to do that. We develop friendships, we connect in a way that you won't connect if you just point and delegate and say, do that, and then when nobody does what you ask them to do, you throw up your hands and say, I quit. I don't want to do this anymore. If it were easy, we wouldn't be here today talking about it. But finding who to mentor is as important as learning how to do it. I got lucky when I picked out Karen. It helped me because I know the next person I mentor, I'll be able to do it even if the next one is not as easy and as fun, because it is challenging. But the good news about asking you as ASF members who you could mentor is that we have a healthy Free Speakers group. They said build it, we built it, they came, but guess what? Only half of our current membership in Free Speakers are paying members of ASF, okay? We've got 20 people in Free Speakers, only 9 of those are dues paying members of ASF, and only a handful of those are actually being proactive and engaging in the Free Speakers program. That leaves at least 9 or 10 people in Free Speakers that may not even know what ASF is. So we've got some young people, they're working on self-improvement, they're willing to be leaders, they're willing to become public speakers, and yet ASF isn't there to mentor everybody that needs to be mentored. So if you're at all interested in becoming a mentor, we've got the people, we've built it, they're here. I'm just asking you as ASF members to consider joining Free Speakers and becoming actively involved as a mentor. Because if half our people need mentors, you can look at it as half full, half empty, or a bunch of piss. I don't know. And if you think the third, that's okay. I've been there too. I prefer to think of the glass not as, I love this. It's either, the optimist says it's half full, the pessimist says it's half empty, or, you know, we can dream. It's full of dragons, but we can go slay those dragons. We've got the people, is what I'm saying. Free Speakers has built the organization to have the people who need to be mentored, and here we are, the potential mentors, and we need to reach out and do it. So we've built it, they're there, this is what we already have, but I would really like to see more members of ASF cross over to the dark side, become a member of Free Speakers, and take an active role in mentoring. If you already knew how to be a mentor, you wouldn't need me to tell you. But you also don't have to reinvent the wheel. Toastmasters has already done that. There's a set of manuals. Right now I'm working through the manual of learning how to be a better, what am I doing? Not public speaking. Karen, what am I working on? Persuasive speaking. Public relations, that's what I'm trying to do. That's my particular project today. But there's a whole set of manuals about how to be a how to be a mentor. And every single month in the Toastmasters magazine, there is at least one, usually 2 articles about how to be a better mentor. So learning how to do it is all here. Toastmasters has it, and you can learn to do it. And you don't have to be a public speaker to join Free Speakers. There's 2 different tracks in Toastmasters. You can do just public speaking, or you can become just a better leader. It helps to be a better leader if you can also publicly speak, but there's a track to learn how to be a better leader and a better mentor through Toastmasters. I know there are those of you who have been in Free Speakers and tried it and didn't like it and left. I would like you to reconsider coming back and see if you can go through the leadership track, because you've got a lot of experience. I mean, there's a lot of experience in this room. I'm going to point to Mark because he's been treasurer forever. One of these days, he's not going to want to be treasurer. You've got an opportunity to Mark to find someone to mentor, to take over your position as treasurer and to teach them and mentor them, bring them along, rather than waiting to 2 weeks before the next election and throw up your hand and say, I'm sick of this, I'm tired of this, I don't want to do it anymore. So there's a lot of expertise in ASF that needs to be passed down through the next generation, and mentorship is a way to do it, and through Toastmasters is a tried and true way to learn to do it. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. It's not a matter of just going on the internet and reading. This is just one page from one Toastmasters magazine giving tips for mentors, and I'm not going to give the how-to, but there is a tried and true method to become a mentor. And through Toastmasters, you can learn to do it. People need to be led the way they need to be led, not just the way we want to lead them. And learning a better way to lead can happen if you work at it, and Toastmasters is a method to get to that end. My message, please consider being a mentor and doing it through Free Speakers. And leadership would be easy if it weren't for what? People, okay?